Alright, hello friends of the Lumpy Pickle channel. I'm Zach, and today I will be going over a documentary. It just came out on Blu-ray. It's What We Left Behind. It's a Star Trek Deep Space Nine documentary. So now this one was a documentary that they crowdfunded a little bit because they wanted to remaster some footage for the documentary, and I didn't back this one. This is just a regular Blu-ray copy that you can buy on Amazon, but I just got a hold of it and was able to watch it, and I thought it was a pretty special documentary. It was really good, and I just wanted to put my thoughts up on the YouTube channel. But I thought I'd start out with talking about a little bit about Star Trek documentaries in general, because Star Trek, it's probably just because I care about the subject matter, but they put out a lot of good documentaries, and The Captains being one of my favorites. They've had some about the good, some about the bad. Trek Nation is a good one by Gene Roddenberry's son. You get to see George Lucas talk about Star Trek, which is cool. Something probably a lot of people never thought they'd see. But they just have really good documentaries in general about all sides of Star Trek. And this one, the special thing about this one is this is the first one that focuses specifically on Deep Space Nine. And it's headed by Ira Steven Behr, who was a writer on the show. He was I forget all of his titles. He had a lot to do on Deep Space Nine. But so going into the documentary, they remastered, I think in the special features they talk about it. I think it was something like 22 minutes of footage just for this documentary, and it looks fantastic. It's the best I've ever seen Deep Space Nine look, and it just makes me want a remastered version of this show. People have been asking for it for a long time, and I know they say it's difficult due to the footage they filmed on was different from the footage they used or did special effects with. So if they remastered the footage, the special effects would be still in standard definition, and it'd be kind of wonky. But I mean, I feel like there's an audience. Maybe it's just the hardcore Trek fans, so maybe it won't be enough for them, but it looks fantastic, and to get a remaster of the show would just be amazing. But the cool thing about this documentary is they talk about a lot of stuff. It's not your traditional documentary to start off with. You can realize that right away, because they start off with a song sung by Rom, the guy that plays Rom. I wrote his name, Max Grodenchik. And my goodness, I didn't know he could sing. He's really good. And then at the end, they end it with a song as well by Armin Shimmerman, Max Grodenchik, Jeffrey Combs, Wayun, and the guy that plays Daymar on the show as well. I didn't know he could sing either. But they're all excellent. That's how they end the documentary, with a song by them. And there's a couple of skits in there, or not skits, but, well, they pretty much are skits. But, yeah, just the things they talk about, for example, I think there's a lot of good stories by the cast and crew. Odo and, Odo and Cisco, apparently, they had some kind of, they butted heads a couple of times in the show, and they talk about a couple of fights they had on set, which was really interesting to hear about. I just didn't know much about, I guess, the behind the scenes for Deep Space Nine, so there was just so much information in this documentary. That was good to know. They do a really cool thing. Ira got all the writers, or the head writers, the main writers of Deep Space Nine. He got them all back to do a Season 8, Episode 1, What If. If they were going to do a Season 8, this is how they would start it. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool to hear, just to see their process and watch them go through it. There's, you know, maybe a couple of things that they do that, in the story-wise, that I don't know if I would 100% agree with, but it was amazing. It was fun to see. You get to see, like, Molly O'Brien, who would have thought, like, you see her growing up. I haven't seen her since, you know, any of the special features. I haven't seen her go to any cons, like Star Trek Las Vegas or any of those cons that I know of. So seeing her growing up, that was pretty interesting in and of itself. But overall, this documentary, there's so much in here. I think it's like an hour and 56 minutes. And then if you add in the special features of like a bunch of scenes that they cut, which is awesome, it's basically a 3-hour documentary. And it being 3 hours, I still wanted more. There was, I mean, they bounce around. They talk to everybody: the production, the stuntmen, the cast and crew, the writers, the producers, the studio heads. Like, they get everybody in this documentary, and it's just good to hear from all of them. I could have listened to another 3 hours, honestly. It was just so entertaining, and yeah, specifically like Aaron Eisenberg, I feel like, and Sirach Lofton, which would be Nog and Jake. I could have listened to them. They had so many interesting stories that didn't end up in the documentary. They ended up in the special features, and it was really cool. I would like just, you know, a full documentary on the Trials and Tribulations episode, or, yeah, I mean, there's so much you could do in this show, do on Deep Space Nine. And I guess that leads me to my next thing is, Star Trek has been doing such a good job with all these documentaries coming out. I feel like this one, which, you know, it's specifically on Deep Space Nine, it makes me want to know what I'm missing with, like, Voyager. Like, you know, do a documentary on Voyager, maybe do one on Enterprise, because those ones have been the least served as far as documentaries go. I mean, they haven't really had any. And, yeah, there's just so much. I want another Deep Space Nine one, because I feel like there's so much we didn't get to talk about. Like, they didn't talk much about any of the Klingon stuff, or, like, it's just a gold mine. So having seen this, I'm just, you know, ecstatic for whatever documentary Star Trek decides to do next. And what a great love letter to the series. I mean, this is for Star Trek Deep Space Nine fans. I mean, I would recommend this to all Star Trek fans, but who am I kidding? If you're a Star Trek Deep Space Nine fan, you probably already have this. And if you don't, you probably should, because you would enjoy it a lot. But just Star Trek fans in general, check this out. If you haven't thought of Deep Space Nine maybe as your thing, or it's too, you know, it's very different from the other series, but that's kind of what I like about it. Because all the other ones do. They boldly go where no one has gone before. And yeah, this is just a different take on the series. We're on a space station, and I don't know. I kind of like the versatility of the Star Trek universe, and I hope that they, going forward, will do a little bit better at portraying the Star Trek universe, because what we're getting right now is just not good. So, yeah, Star Trek fans, I recommend this to you. Deep Space Nine fans, this is a must. It's fantastic. So, signing off, Zach, signing off for the Lumpy Pickle channel. Thanks for watching.